start recording. Good morning. Cool, this is going to be a good day. Come on in. Cool, my hands, they're like old elephant skin. It's because all the central heating's on, isn't it? Come on in. Be a good day today. Loads of bits and pieces. Quite old cream. Found it at the bottom of the cupboard. That's not very nice. Yeah, well, it doesn't smell of lemons anymore. Come on in. It's all right. Bit of lubricant. I need a peg now. It's a good job I'm on my own. Come on in, grab a seat. Good morning, everybody. Good to have your company. Today's going to be a little bit different. I thought we'd do something different. I might have to go and wash my hands before we start because this is vile. Where's my tea? It's all go. I can't tell you. It's one day at a time though, isn't it? This is rather a big tissue for my nose. It's all right, it's going to be a good session. How are you anyway? Friday, thank God it's Friday. Like it makes a blind bit of difference anymore, eh? They all just roll into one, don't they? Everybody okay? I don't know about that. Would you mind terribly if I go and wash my hands? I can't handle this for an hour. Excuse me one moment while I disappear into the back. I have got running water in. Oh, I don't have to shout because you're with me. Hang on, let me just get this horrible, vile smelling, rancid cream off my hands. That is just the last thing you need when you're going into an hour of crafting. Don't you agree? Hang on. Oh, it's all right. That's better. Bye-bye, rancid hand cream. I found some rancid paint as well earlier on while I was prepping. Cool. That was a fun 5 minutes, I can tell you. Yeah, it's all right though. I was covered in paint. Dave was in it. Got there though. Lovely result. Come on in. It'll all be fine. Is anybody there apart from me? Can you hear me okay? Stuart? Yeah, sound is great. Glad to hear it. Got an apron on. Warning, warning. Ah, dear. So the good news is that the Pergamano orders are all filled from that sale, and they should all be going up by the end of play today, according to the team at work, who are then going to go and lie down in a dark room in readiness for Monday, because on Monday the Grey Friday celebrations start. We don't do Black Friday because it doesn't sound very nice, so we do Grey Friday, and it lasts a whole week. Nectar. Come on in. Today, what's the time? 10 o'clock. Good morning. Welcome to the SHAC. Safe, happy and creative. Stay home and craft. For the last couple of weeks, we've been doodling houses, which have been absolutely delightful. We started out with a bookmark. Do you remember we said we would do some what we call functional art, rather than just doodling on bits of copy paper and then putting them in our file? Or, I mean, some of you work in your journals, which is wonderful. I've just got a file full of bits of copy paper. So what we'd said was this would be an opportunity to make cards, perhaps, to make coasters, to make canvases even. So today, I thought we should give ourselves a pat on the back for a start, because when you see, this is such a brilliant process actually, because what we're doing now is we're starting with a piece of tracing paper and we're going right through to finished product. And this has been my life as long as I can remember back, to have an idea, to translate it onto a piece of tracing paper, to start working with it and then moving it into a product. And if you think about clarity, that is all it is. That's all it is. And the best part of it is, because I can do all the stages, and even the stages that I can't do, I've got a friend who can. We're pretty autonomous. You know, we're pretty self-sufficient. Most of the stuff that we design in-house, we make, you know, it's good, isn't it? And the best part is that today you'll see your doodles, you watch us translate those now into products, into gifts, into cards, you know. That's when you start to realise not only that you can, but what's involved, you know. Then you appreciate it as well. So if we cast our mind back, are you ready to start? Are you ready to start? This is going to be good. It's still a bit ropey. It's all right. They're going to be covered in paint in about half an hour, so we won't worry too much about it. Let's not get funny about a little bit of stinky cream, Barbara. Okay, let's have a look, shall we? See if you can... I wonder if I put the cameras on. Oh, yes, I did. Right, so we started out... Let's just enjoy the journey. What did we go with? Right, so we started out with a picture, didn't we? Just a traced picture that we drew. Do you remember? And we decided we figured out what we were going to make or what size we were going to do before we began. So we either were going to go for a canvas or we were going to go for a coaster. That was it, wasn't it? A coaster. And then we had then we had some of you struggling to get in the coaster. So you just put your nail in there and that's it. You don't have to worry too much. I find it not so much a challenge opening it as closing it. Right. So we decided what size. The point is, this whole hour, this session, this SHAC session is going to be less of a doodle and more of a finishing tricks. Because I know that a lot of our friends in the SHAC, you're not card makers. You don't come from this world. You know, you're in this world because you want to distract yourself, because you want company, because lots of reasons. There'll be lots of reasons why you're here, but you don't have. I'm assuming there'll be plenty of you that don't have. Like I know Susan, fantastic pottery. Fantastic, staggeringly beautiful pottery, but I'm sure she's not a card maker. You know, so these are going to be tricks and tips today about how to finish things. You know, loads, all the 27 or how many years I've been in the game, I picked up tricks along the way. I don't think this sort of stuff, you can Google it now. I suppose there's YouTube for everything, isn't there? But in the end, you just pick it up along the way. And many of you will be card makers and you'll have your own ways of doing this. You know, so this isn't me just telling you this is the only way. Of course it's not. It's the way I do it. That's all. And many of you will learn from it. And many of you will say, oh, I know a better way. Well, that's great. Good for you. That's good for you. We all work out our own ways, don't we? I didn't go to university to art. I didn't learn any rules. I figured it out along the way. No, sometimes that's not a bad thing, because if you don't know the rules, you can't break them, can you? I think what you need is an inquiring mind. And if you'd been here at 8 o'clock this morning when I was trying to get into this paint that's been in the cupboard for 3 years next to the cream. What a game. What a game. W-A-G, I say. Right, okay, so let's have a look what we're doing and where we're going. Just bear with me. We did that, we translated that then, one way or another, to paper. Some of us went to buff paper. You wait till you see what it looks like printed on buff. Some of us went to white paper. We went to the back of that paper. Some of us went to designer paper. But the original was still in my, that'll go in my file, because that is where I will pull anything, any byproducts, anything that I think, oh, do you know what, that'd look fantastic on a, I don't know, on On a placemat, that would look fantastic. On a candle, that would look fantastic as a stamp. I need the original artwork. Always got to keep the original artwork. Have a file for it. And do you know what else? It means it's proof that it's yours. That's how you copyright artwork, if you were ever wondering. Back in the day when I used to draw pictures, I thought, well, how'd you copyright? I mean, now it's just open game and everybody just rips everybody off. It's awful. But back in the day, there was a little bit of, it was more ethical, let's call it that. And what you used to do was, you used to draw something, like say I drew that, then I'd put it in an envelope, I'd seal the envelope, and I'd mail it to myself. And I'd leave the envelope sealed. And on the envelope, it would say, drawn, like inside the envelope, of course, it would say, illustrated, December the such and such, la-li-la-li-la, huh? And then I'd put it in with the picture in an envelope, brown, I've got loads of them still, brown envelopes, permanently sealed, right? And they used to have those clips on them as well, so you couldn't break the seal. And then I'd send it to myself, and on the back of the envelope, I would write, otherwise you'd have a dozen envelopes and you wouldn't know which one was which. So if there ever was a dispute, you see, you'd have your copyright envelope, and it would say, houses, November 2020, you see? And then if it ever push came to shove, you could go, well, hang on a minute, I know I drew it before you did. And then you look, you see, go in your little library of envelopes. That's how old I am. Most of you won't know that, but that's how we used to do it. And I lived in the States, and the Americans are certainly ahead of the game on that stuff, clearly. So that's where I learnt that trick, okay? So that's interesting. If you're trying or thinking about getting into art, just in another bit of original artwork, well, hey, look, hanging around. That one goes in there. That'll go in my little library of originals. See, so then you do that, and then where did we go then? Oh yeah, so then we translated it, or transferred it, let's say, onto our different surfaces, didn't we? We did that one, that was lovely. That was the original I just found. Or where was the other one? I did it on designer paper, did that. And then there's my original. And you can see it's the original because it's got all the scrap all over it, look, where I was trying to figure out what we were going to do around the outside. I love this. I think this is lovely. So now I've got that. I've got a choice. I can take that one piece of artwork and I can mount it, I can put it on a card, and I can make it again and again and again, right? Of course I can. And they're called originals, and they're very expensive, right? Because you can only make so many. You know, now you understand the value of the difference between a print and an original. Why you go into a gallery and an original is like Mickey Mouse money, and the prints are very affordable. You know, when you go to shows, you look at you think, crikey, £800, okay. And then you look for the print and it's £80 and you think, yeah, that's better, that's more my style. But the truth is that if you realise the process of the original, there's only one, you know, there's only one, that's why they cost so much money. So we did this, didn't we? And now, this is my point, we've got our originals. I've still got them, even though now I've got coasters, I've got canvases, I've got cards. I'm going to make all the gift vouchers for Christmas, for clarity, with this one design, loads of mileage, scanner, printer. That's all you need. Good scanner, good printer. You know, back in the day, I was talking to Jim about it. Back in the day, I paid for a colour printer, a Hewlett-Packard. I'm going back now. 20 plus years, 25 years, right? I remember I spent about, it was about £2,500 to £3,000 on a colour printer. Now you get them for 500 quid, top dollar, you know, like top of the range. And in those days it was a major investment, you know, and then the cartridges, they cost as much again. So it's so much easier now to scan, and you know, much as there's so much gone wrong, and not all of our progress has been great, you know, there are things, especially in the graphics and art world, these things just make your job easier. You know, you can either draw that again and again and again and get sick of it by card number 4, or you can scan it and print it, which is what I did. And the other thing about scanning and printing it is, as you're printing it out, you can change the size. Woohoo! Does any of that make sense? Good. So what we're going to do, that's 10 minutes in, I'm going to put my precious originals, which I'm going to dine out on for years to come, I promise you. I'm joking. But you understand what I mean? There's a difference between originals and prints. And actually, when I say there's a difference, you can't tell the difference. If I put, let's just humour me here, right? I'm going to put 2 pictures next to each other. Right. Let me go into that mode so you can't see what I'm doing. Right. I'm going to put 2 pictures next to each other. Like that. Let's see. Like that. So you can't tell. And I'm going to come... Right. Maybe you can tell, but I would say it doesn't make... It's not there. Look. There you go. Look. So look. Are you telling me... There's the original, clearly. There's the print. What do you think? Hey? Hewlett-Packard. You know, if you want to get into this, then most of you probably got a really good colour printer. But doesn't that speak volumes? I can't tell the difference, and you know, not really. I can feel the difference. There's a little bit of small snow going on there. But hey ho. So, and even if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to change your artwork, you could scan it at another place. You don't have to go take it right through to the end zone. You could have stopped once you've done the black and white line art. You see? And then you scan that, and then you've got the original, and then it's up to you which way do you want to go. Do you want to pull prints with it? Do you want to put a jelly plate art over the top of it? Do you want to make a summer scene? Do you want to make a winter scene? You see what I mean? So you want to change the colours, want to make it match your curtains. That's the difference. It's where'd you stop it, where'd you scan it? You know, sometimes if you go too far, then it's not so easy to extract the colour when you're in the computer. So you know, maybe scan it at different stages as well. It's all there for you if you're into that. So let's have a look. We're going to go with this one. I'm going to put my original away. I just wanted to show you what a difference, right? Oh, and also, hello, there it is printed on white. There it is printed on that buff paper. Exactly the same. You know, it's just really vintagey, really oldie worldy vintagey. Love it. That's only a print, you know, just a print. Cool, isn't it? Right, so I'm just going to put my, and then we're going to get going. Put my originals away. We don't need them for now. Right, we do need these though. So the first thing I want to do is let's just look at this. I want to make a card. Now, if we make a card, I've scanned loads of them, right? So we've got to make a card. So let's say I'm going to make a card. Let's have a look. I'm going to make a card. So I want to cut this out, right? So this is just printed on a bit of copy paper, and I want to cut it out. Again, most of you will know exactly how to cut out. I'm going to show you a couple of little finishing tricks, how to cut this out. And the other thing is, when you're working on copy paper, it's quite flimsy. So let's just put this to one side, come back to that. If you, for example, we've got card blanks, they're called, right? And they come in all different sizes. This is 6 by 6. 6 inches square, that means, and it's scored, right, which means it's already got the fold in it, but it's not folded. And when you get these, let me show you. See the it's embossed that way, so the ridge is on that side. The ridge is on that side. And what we're going to do is when you fold it out of the emboss, so the ridge is on the inside. Okay, so just so you know, that's how you fold it. You fold it out. So the card blanks, right? And let's get one thing clear. This is not Sally Telly. This is the SHAC, right? But when you're finishing your work, there are certain things you need. There are materials that you're going to start gathering together. It's the same when I do pottery. I've got to have a rolling pin. I've got to have this. I've got to have that. you know, and it's not mandatory, it's entirely up to you. But I'm just showing you how to get the best out of it and tricks and tips, okay? Don't buy anything this week. Wait till Monday. If you're going to go to Clarity, Monday, Grey Friday starts. And it starts with my blog, and we have a Bloggy Blitz sale. Monday, it'll be all this sort of stuff. Tuesday, it'll be ink pads. Wednesday, it'll be something else. It'll be paint, I think. I don't know. But every week, every day of the week, there's a massive sale on everything. So don't buy anything today. Don't. Just don't. If you're going to, well, you can if you want to, but don't say I didn't tell you on Monday. Okay? Right, so let me explain a couple of little things. When you're working with thin, flimsy copy paper, you've got to know how to set it down, haven't you? If you use, you know, if you use glue, wet glue, chances are it will buckle, so that's not so clever. So we're going to use either a glue runner or double-sided adhesive sheets. Right, this is what I'm going to show you. Card blank, this. Let's have a look at this now. So this is dead easy, dead easy. So we can choose now. Let me show you this. So we've got a white, we can put it on white. This is 6x6. I think because it's quite a big, busy artwork, a 5x5 would be obviously a bit smaller, but it's quite, I think it needs a little bit of breathing space around the outside, okay? So let's have a look. 6x6 is a good size to send. It looks good on black. Looks really good on black. Let me come out a little bit. If I come out a little bit, you can see better what I'm doing. Yeah, today's the day we come out a bit. Right, let's have a look at this one. Don't worry, we're going to do loads. But this is a sort of finishing stuff that I never do on telly. Never happens, you know, but it's so key. Right, so the other thing is you've got to decide, do you want your card to open at the side, or do you want it to be one of those ones that you can hang over your bunting, or, you know? It's entirely up to you. Do you want a bottom opener or do you want a side opener? That's another thing to consider. Then the next thing we've got to do, I'll give you, this is basic card making, right? But what I did as well, right, I think it looks better when it's layered. And what I mean by that is, say for example, I took my dies. This is where dies come in handy. You can use a ruler, I'm just saying, the thing about the die is that you get a nice sort of dip, like a real professional edge. I think there's a difference, I think this is what we're getting to here. There's a difference between homemade and handmade, you know? And there's a difference, if you want to sell something, or it needs to be handmade, but not look homemade. You know what I mean? So, and there are very simple ways. These are the finishing things now to make something almost. If you said shop ready, then you'd understand what I mean. You saw it in a shop, you think, yeah. And I've spent my life making shop ready stuff. Shop ready, you know, gallery pieces, if you like. And it's not hard. It's just tricks and tips, and a little bit of stash. So you can see here what I've done is you pick which one you want to layer. I'm not big on, you know, I don't use dies that much. I never used to, but these are superb. So what I did was I took a 5x5 card blank, and I decided which one of the nested dies I wanted to use. So say that's my card, that's that, and that's going to be my border. When you layer things out, if you just stick that on there, it looks a bit cheap. Let's call it that. Let's not call it anything else. It just looks a little bit rough. You know, it just looks like a bit of copy paper stuck on a bit of craft card, basically. But if we layer it up, now this is the thing, even if you layer it up buff on buff, craft card on craft card, you look straight away, it looks much more expensive, much more handmade instead of homemade. You see the difference? That simple little addition of another layer. The other thing is, of course, now when we put it on the black, did you not think that it sort of sucked the life out of it? It was like, ooh, that's a bit stat. You know what I mean? It's like, just draws the colour out, doesn't it? Let's put it on a bit of white. Watch that jump now. You see how it makes it just ping? Yeah? Really, really cool. So that's something to consider, whether you put it on white, whether you put it on there, even white on white. I think this always looks really classy. That looks really nice too. And it's because it's a tactile thing. People receive cards, but straight away, that looks good. That looks great. Now, how would I stick this on here and that on there? Well, personally, I wouldn't use a wet glue on here because it's too flimsy. It's a bit of copy paper, isn't it? So we've covered the layers, and we know how we got, and they're all uniform, you know. I mean, that's probably the biggest investment in the whole game, because it's not the dies, it's the die cutting machine you need. That's where the money is. It's in the die cutting machine. And a lot of us have got them. I like the Gemini. It's an electric one. You just put it in one end and it spits it out the other end. I've never had a problem with my Gemini, and I don't get I don't get paid to tell you that. I just think they're a great machine. But to do something like that, anything, it's like a glorified mangle, you know. You've got to put pressure on it so that there's these little cutting edges, then it'll come out. But you make a stash, boom, you know. So that's the first thing. And you can see where I found my layers. Look, I just took the nested colours, and 3 cards gives me 6 layers. That's what I've got. So when you're going into bulk, if you're making all your Christmas cards, for example, or let's say you're making for charity. Oh, by the way, I blogged last night about all your lovely maker cards. Send a card. So go to barbaragrayblog.com and you'll find out what happened to all your cards, or what's happening to all your cards. It's all in hand, trust me. It's fine. But so what we're going to do now is start with a card, and then we'll start moving forward. So, I don't want to lose that one. That's the key. Right. Okay. So we got that, and now we've got the blanks. They come in 5x5, 6x6, 7x7, and 8x8. Yeah. There was, for a while, it depends. Even now, people send big cards on, you know, but I think 6x6 is a good size, 6x6, 7x7. It depends. You want to make a set of notelets, for example, 5x5, perfect, isn't it? Right, now let's have a look. So we've got this, and then we want to stick it on a card. That's the bottom line, isn't it? It's pretty straightforward. So let's just, for the sake of argument, which one should we go with? I'm going to go, do you know, I like white on white. Okay, I'm going to go white on white. Let me get my other glasses on. It just looks lovely. We go white on white, and then I'll show you also how I cut this out. I know I'm teaching you to suck eggs, but sometimes you want to know this stuff. Another thing about working on a different layer like this, when you do this, right, is that you can also put like brads in the corner, or if you wanted to sew it, sometimes people do a bit of stitching. If you have an extra layer like this before you go to your card, then the inside of your card is always lovely, you see? So that's another little finishing fact. You can put, you know, sometimes there's some lovely brads. We do beautiful little tiny ones with Pergamano, and you might want to put 4 in each corner, you know. Not that you need it, because you could have stuck it down with a glue runner. However, it all adds to the effect, doesn't it? So this is a glue runner. It's just a glue pen, and we're just going to add a little bit. You want to get as close to the edge as you can. So take your time. Just go along the edge like that. We've got a huge shipment of these coming in, clarity ones. Fantastic. Be a little while yet. But they will. But the thing about these is you go through them. If you're a card maker, you chomp through these, don't you? So I've gone to hold it in place. I mean, because it's so flimsy, I might even give myself a little bit more stick like that, right? So now I've stuck that down. Right, 2-finger trick. What I mean by that sounds naughty. I'm going to take my fingers are sticking to that now, right? Then I go over the top and I hover, but my fingers give me the separation, and I can see exactly whether it's in the middle or not. I'll get my head over the top so I can have a good old look, and then I press it down, and then I know that it's bang in the middle. See? That's simple. And once I've done that, now I can put that on there. Here's the thing. if it's going to be a side opener like that, right, then now do I want to put a message on the front if it's a card? See, I always like them like that. I do. I don't know why I like these ones. But you see now, for example, I could stamp something, and that's the other thing. Stamp it before you stick it, because if your stamping's a bit ropey, then, you know. So this way, you could stick that on there like that, but you could also, look, from our house to your house, boom. This is our SHAC. No, these are the SHAC ones, the feel good factor. These are the Christmas and birthday and celebration ones. But there's loads of different. But from our house to your house, that's the one I think would look super. And I've got it in white as well. Might look better in white. Look. And if I wanted to make it in blue, if I wanted this to jump out, oh, now I'm getting now I'm getting everything out of the cupboard. Hang on a minute. If I stick it on a bit of plastic like that, hang on. Let me just put that down there. So say white's a little bit bland, black's a little bit severe. So you think, well, now what then, Grey? What do you want to do now? Well, let's get a brush. See what we've got. Dry brush, that'll do. Oh yeah, there you are, see? So I've just grabbed a brush and I've stuck it on a bit of plastic, and then I can go like that. I haven't lost anything, so I've just used a bit of ink on there. Peel that off now. Get that out of the way. Bring that down there, stick that on there with the glue runner again, and then I can put that on there, see? Bob's your uncle and Fanny's, Bob's your ankle and Fanny's your aunt. There you are, see? That looks better. It maybe a bit darker blue. I'll get another ink pad, go over it again. That was a little bit turquoisey grey. But you get the picture. That's how it works, okay? And then I can stick that one down as well with my glue runner. Once I'm happy with the position. There you go. White on white, you know. And, you know, there's a science to this. But now I've got my words in, so I can shuffle this up a little bit as well. There you go. So it doesn't look ridiculous. There, like that. And now it's in the right place, you see. And I'm not happy about that colour. But the good news is they come off. So I can change them, yeah? So I can go in and make that darker in a minute. But for now, you get the picture. Yeah? So is this of any interest to anybody? I know for most of you this is like teaching you to suck eggs, but sometimes it's not bad to see it again, you know. Little tricks and tips. Right, so that's that. We've done that. Now, so we've made a card. We've got the envelopes as well. We've got the matching envelopes, clearly. But we sell them separately only because a lot of us use the card blanks. And if you buy, you know, you've got 8 cards and 8 envelopes, then you end up, what ends up with me, I end up with mountains of envelopes. So that's what we've done is we've split the envelopes from the cards so you can buy the envelopes as you need them. Because most of us just use the card blanks for layering up. Do you see what I just did? Okay, so that's that one. Let's have a sip of tea. Next thing. Now, so we've done that. When I went to do this is cool as well. This is cool. Let me show you this. So I wanted to make, you know, the stamp board that we use. Say I want to make like a dangle to hang on a hook on a wall. You know, like a little, they're not cards. I've got them from friends and I always keep them every year. And so, say for example, let me show you. We've got these stamp board, haven't we? It's like mount board, but it comes in different shapes as well. So you can do it, it's got hearts, we've got different sizes. Right, so let's look at the square one, okay? And let's say I want to, this is the same size as that. This is the largest one. I want to put it on there. Right, now if I'm scanning and playing, I can make it smaller. Look, if I want to, I can make it smaller. I personally think this looks better, but it's a question of choice. You could take it right up to the edge and make it that big. So that's the thing about scanned art. Now the thing about this is, again, how do I stick that down? I could use the glue runner, or because this is going to be more, it's going to be hanging up, and it's going to get more, it's going to be handled more, you know, if it's hanging by the fireplace or something. So perhaps instead of using, these are just tricks and tips, instead of using, there's a smaller one. Instead of using the glue runner, let's use a piece of double-sided adhesive. Right, so let me I can show you another trick. How to apply this with double-sided adhesive. So what you'd think is, right, I take that and I'll cut a piece that's the same size. The easiest way to stick this down, let me show you how to do this. Right, if I take a piece of double-sided adhesive, like that, okay, this is A6, we do A4 as well if you've got bigger artwork going on, right? So let's just fold that over like so. Right, so I've taken the wax paper and I'm just folding it over. And that exposes this area. Because I don't want to waste all this lot, you see. So now I take my piece of artwork, depending on what size it is. See, that fits almost perfectly. But let's go with the smaller one so you can see the trick, right? You see this all right? Again, this hasn't got anything on it. So I've got my 2 fingers, right? So I've got my control. I'm going to go quiet now. I wonder if I put that there, this will help me because I can go right over with my head. So I'm going to go to the top 2 sides. So I've only got to cut 2 edges, obviously. So I'm going to take my time, because stuck is stuck with this. There's not a lot of forgiveness with double-sided adhesive sheets. Right, down we go. So now that is on the back, but I can cut the pieces. So here we go. Now with the cutting, I've got a ruler. So let me show you. If I get a ruler, now I digress, but this is important. So let's take my ruler. I'm going to take this right up to the edge. One of the rules about cutting, right? First of all, if I put the ruler down here, it's going to stick like you know what, isn't it? To the adhesive, and that always gets a little bit of a mess. So this is why the wax paper's there, because you could take it right up to the edge if you choose to. I'm going to cut this side first. Golden rule, I learned this a long time ago. Pretend that your artwork is glass. Pretend that this is a piece of glass, and you're not going to treat it gently, but also you're not going to cut into it, because if you put your ruler down there and then suddenly you go careering into your artwork, you won't be happy. So what we're going to do is put the ruler down on the artwork and then line it up. Now the thing is, of course, you're going to slide, which is the last thing you want to do. You won't slide on that, but you'll stick like a monkey. So what we've got is something that's called the groovy grip. And this is something so simple, right? It's called a groovy grip, and it grips holes and keeps things in place. Right, let's have a look. Right, groovy grip. You've got 2 sheets of it. It sounds like a massive sale, but it's not. It's just me showing you what the point is of half the stuff that we sell. So it comes in these sheets like this, big A4 sheets. Like yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? I had the biggest challenge of getting it out of the bag. Yesterday or Wednesday, I had pottery, my Zoom lesson, right? And blimmin', I was sliding around I was trying to roll out my clay, and the wood, it was just sliding around here. And this was the only thing that would hold it down. So I put this underneath the wood, and then as soon as I applied pressure, boom, didn't work. So what you do with this is, right, you'll see, you just cut a piece, let's say the length of the ruler, like that. That'll do. I put the whole sheet down underneath my wooden block that I was rolling out the clay on, and then it's stuck like, every time I rolled it, it just stayed in place, which was the right result. Right, so now I've got this strip, and it's like plastic, but it's not sticky. It's not like the adhesive. You'll see. I mean, the hardest part is getting the backing paper off. Here we go. Right, so that is just a little piece of plastic. But the weird thing is, right, if I stick it to a ruler, if I take this ruler, let me just put that on my arm for a minute. If I put that over there, if I take this ruler and I go to cut something out, like, let me cut this out, right? what will happen is I'll slide. Look, if I press, I'm going to slide. It just is the way it is. I slide. As soon as I put this on the bottom of the ruler, let me just lay this down on the ruler. See, many of you will be aware of this, but a lot of you won't be. So now I put that down. It comes off again. It's not stuck. It just clings. It literally clings. Like clever gear. I put that down. Now all the time I'm moving around like this, right? It's not sticking. As soon as I press, it won't move. Look, it really does not move, and therein lies your magic. So if I now, to get this completely covered, I'll take my blade and my ruler with the groovy grip. See, and I can slide around until I'm happy with the position, like that, because I don't want any adhesive showing, do I? Right, so I'll do that. And then as soon as I press, it will stay in place. And now I can cut through to there. Yeah? What I'm going to do is cut this piece off because I can use it. Otherwise it just gets lost. So I'll take that, right, and I'll stick that down on there. So now I've saved that bit, because those little bits are great when it comes to canvas work. Now again, I'm cutting away from my artwork because I really do not want to cut into my artwork. So I just hover with my ruler with the groovy grip. This ruler also, just for your information, it's got a steel inlay. See this pergamano where it's got a steel inlay? That's useful, because it means you don't end up embedded in the ruler with the craft knife. We all know that one. Right. See, so then I take that away. I do that, take that away. I've got none of it sticky on this side. This is now, I've saved every single bit that I didn't use. That goes back in my little, look, see, I've already done it once. There you go. It's exactly the same. Mechanical. It's just a mechanical way of working. Got that. And there's my topper. Now I can stick this if I choose. I've got choices. I can put this, once I take this off, because it's a real wall-to-wall carpeting. This is on the back, isn't it now? Right, so that's seriously sticky tape. I can put that on my stamp board. I can put it on a canvas. If I choose, if I prefer, I'm going to show you how to do a canvas differently. If I wanted, oh, hello, I could put that down on my canvas like that, and that would work perfectly too. So choices. There are always more than one way to do something. Right? But I'm going to do my 2-finger trick, hold it in place, down it goes, and now it's on my mount board. Right? So that's a lovely, and I'll punch a couple of holes in, put a hanger on there. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, and there's another one ready for later. So I'm knocking out my Christmas cards and my presents here. Okay, interesting, boring, but either way there'll be several people watching this going, didn't know that. See, so, and whether or not you use these tricks and tips with these particular pieces of artwork we're doing, it's up to you. But it's just about having a look at the different possibilities and the ways to make things. We're talking about going through to finished product, and I think it's worth thinking about. Difference between homemade and handmade, and making your own Christmas cards and making your own gifts. There's a lot to be said for it. So let's have a look. We've done the card. We've shown you how to cut. Yeah, and when you're cutting, yeah, that's it with the blade. We've done the double-sided tape. The coaster is easy. So the coaster, this is just a piece of cake. Look, you just open it up. You cut. You size your artwork to sit. It sits inside that lip. Do you see there's a lip? Now, it's up to you. If you want to make this thicker, then you've got all the tricks now. If I wanted to, I mean, I probably wouldn't, but I could stick two so that they're the same on both sides, But you don't really need to use double-sided adhesive. It just makes it thicker and thicker. Just a glue runner. But a bit of card with love from, or one of those stickers from our house to your house, you see? But that's nice. And if it opens up, sometimes if it's too thick inside, right, then this won't close because there's too much in here, so this won't drop in. And sometimes, you know, you get batches and they just don't, I don't know, they just don't seem to sit right. And if that's the case, all you got to do, look, I'm going into mass production, see? So you cut them up, put them in. Once you've decided what you want in here, say you want to put a piece of card in that says to Beryl and Dave, with love from our house to your house, or from me to you, or whatever, right? Or it could be a table setting for your Christmas. There was only 2 of you. But it's a nice gift. If it's too thick in here and you need to sit that down, then all you've got to do is take a little bit of 3mm tape and just put a little tiny piece on 2 sides, and then that'll stick like you know what. Okay? So that's the way to seal it if it's a gift. There you go. Do you know, I've just had a thought. You could, what a nice idea. What a gift that would be. You could do 4 different seasons and you could give the coaster to someone, and then they could tell them how to, you give them the instructions how to open it, and then they could change their coaster. Ah, wouldn't that be a nice idea? Cool, I do have them. There you go. So you could have a 4 seasons coaster and you could make a little package. What a lovely thought. Yeah, because we did the 4 seasons, didn't we? Do you remember when we did the mandala, the middle bit? There you go. So you could do 4 seasons coaster. Only need 1 of those, 4 of them. Boom. Wouldn't that be a nice idea? Yes. So I think the coaster is clear, isn't it? The coaster is clear. Do you get it? The size is slightly smaller on this than on the canvas to sit inside that recess. Okay? Right, so we've done that. We're clearing away. Getting to the best bit now. So we've done the cards, we've done the coasters. I've shown you how to use the groovy grip. Now we're on to the canvases. Now this is something that is dear to my heart, right? Because I think that canvases, look, see, this is the actual size of the artwork, and it's exactly the right size to wrap the canvas around. How do we do that though? So, because what I want to do is take this and then wrap the artwork around this one and then attach this one to a 6x6. So this is a 4x4 inch canvas board and this is a 6x6 inch canvas board. So the first thing I want to do is show you how to cut this out. Now I've already done a canvas board using this colour, so this time I'm going to do it in white to show you, right? And then we can have a look at the two ideas. So the first thing is, how do you get that in exactly the right place? So you've got choices. You can hold it up to the window, right, so that the light shines through, and then you can hold it in place. I've got another idea. Get a bit of sponge, like a lot of you are parchers. You've got your super foam, okay? And what I need to do is just make, if I call in all parchers, cool, look at the sun pouring in. Is that okay, or is it too much of a, where's that sun coming from? Is it coming from there, or is it coming from over here? I'll just close the blind because it's really coming down on, is that better? There we are, sorry about that. Right, that's better. So I've got to figure out where it is, right? Can't see that. If I take my 1 needle tool or any sort of pokey tool and I punch through here in the 4 corners like that. This is, to me, far and away the easiest way to know that when I turn it over I can see the 4 holes. Can you? Obviously I can see that there's holes in the picture. You see them? There. So I can see exactly where to cut from to. So that's a bit of super foam, anything soft, so it would go through with a needle. You can use a safety pin, you can use a computer, what is it called, a mouse pad, right? So now I've got these holes. Now let's go back to that ruler with the groovy grip on it. Let's go back to the ruler with the groovy grip. And what I'm going to do now is, because I can see where the holes are, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to use the grid on the ruler. You can see it. See that line there? So I'm going to use my grid on my ruler. When I did O-level needlework at school, I had a lovely teacher, and she always said, the back of the artwork, the back of the work is as important as the front of the work. So it'd be nice, even if you can't actually see it, the maker knows. The maker knows. Right, so these are all bits. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm lining up this line here with the dots so that all 4 of the sides, see, and as soon as I press, it's not going to move because I've got the groovy grip on it. Right, I'll turn it round like that. Okay. Now I've done that, and now I know that it's exactly, look, see, from the front is perfect. And now that's a top tip for any artwork, working from behind. But clearly what we're going to do is wrap this around the canvas. The whole idea is that this is going to be, let's grab that one there. This is going to be wrapped around there like so. So I want to show you how we do that. And let me just put safety, health and safety, put the lid on. Right, and then what we're going to do, I want to cut this corner because when I wrap it around, I don't want it to be all bunched up. But when I cut the corner off, I mean, I could do it with a ruler, of course I can, and I could get very technical, but I'm going to run out of time here in a minute. What I'm showing you though is I'm staying away, if you look, I'm staying away a little bit from the hole. You see, it just gives me a little bit more to wrap around because the canvas has got a side, hasn't it? It's not sheer. It's quite chunky. It's a chunky monkey. Right. Can you still hear me all right? Going like the clappers here. Right. This is as close to being back on telly as I've got in the SHAC, isn't it? But it's, to me, this is important. It's all, you know, it's all part of it, really. It's a finishing game. And I never do this stuff. We never do this, do we? You know, too fast, just showing the stamps, and then you go to the finished card and you go da-da, and everybody's like, well, how did, but, well, now you know. Right, so now I've got that, and I've got that, and I want to wrap that round that. Right, there's the front, there's that side. I'm going to just change, I need a bit of copy paper in the background, a bit of copy paper, like that. Right, now enter the glue. This is where I'm going to use decoupage, Clebo and lac. Cool, I had a blimmin' to do this morning. I couldn't find the new one, but the last time I couldn't find the old one, so I had to open a new one. So I'm going to go, just to make a point, because it's yellow, right? It's, again, this was in the cupboard with the blimmin' and cream. It's really, you've got to shake it a bit. Hang on. I won't. I've already done that. Right, here we go. Okay. So you take the lid off. I had a right old hoo-ha trying to get the lid off. I was running around in the kitchen. You've got one of these. Because, of course, glue sticks, doesn't it? So I've had all this going on, trying to get this blimmin' thing off. I thought, well, the whole demo's going to bomb in a minute because I can't get the bloody lid off. But finally managed to crack that, and then and then when I went to find my coasters, look what was hiding. Yeah, but I'm going to use the old stuff only because I want you to understand that it doesn't go off. It just smells like my hand cream now. Right, okay, so here's the thing, we're going to put a layer of this. This is I like this one. There's loads of different ones. This is a sealant as well. So if I wanted to put a varnish on the front, like this is the stuff. It's a glue, but it's also a sealant. Now this time, if this was copy paper, I wouldn't be doing this, but because it's thicker, I feel confident that it won't buckle the paper if I just put a little bit of the glue on this side as well. It makes it slide better. It gives it a little bit more wiggle room when you're positioning it, right? Not too much. Right, that needs to go in the water as soon as possible so it doesn't get hard and crusty like it was when I found it. Right, so we've put that on the front, we've got that. Then what I'm going to do is pick this up, and now this, I line it up with the 4 little pinpricks. Let me put you over on that side, and I'm going to lean over now, and I'm going to find my... Right, so you find your 4 little pinpricks. You see, you can move it around a bit. There's a little bit of wiggle room going on. Right, let's just see. I reckon that'll fit. Then I'll turn it over, and before I commit, see, I can see exactly, look, as I come round, it's not glued, but it's definitely in the right place. Because at this point, if I wanted to, I could still lift it off and reposition it. Right. So that works really well, I like, right? That'll do. So I've got that in place, and I've teased it because we've got the 2 layers on there. This is going to look super, watch. Right, so now I've done that. Now this is all clean. So I'm going to take this, I need a little bit more glue again, but I'm going to do 2 sides at a time. And I'm going to make sure, let's have a look. When you're on your own doing it, it's so much... Right, ready? So I'm going to do these 2 sides. So I put a little bit more of that glue on there. Don't need a lot. One of these pots will last you a lifetime. Unless you can't find it. And then you need 2. Right, so we'll do this side. How are we doing for time? Okay, cool. There's one more thing I want to show you, which is so cool. Right, so we do that. Yeah, so we've got this big sale going on. It's the big sale of the year next week with the rest of the world. Grey Friday starts on Monday. Right, so at the moment we're having a big old stock count, loading up the website. And now watch, when I get to the corner, let me show you this. When I get to the corner, I'm just gonna, see, I'm teasing it round so it's tight. Then when I get here, I just put my finger in and then just curl it round. So it, see? So you just curl it round like that. And you go to that edge, keep going, just keep going. It will sit. Right, that's it. So you've got a nice sharp edge, and it's nice and clean on that side as well. See, all nice and neat. My needlework teacher would be proud of me. Right, so I've done that side. Yes, we've got this big sale going on. And there's, right, here we go. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, it's all non-clarity products like this. Everything I'm using, you know, like now. If it's got a clarity brand, if it's clarity branded, then it'll be on the big weekend, right? But in the lead up with the bloggy sale, it's all non-clarity branded stuff. That's how we split it up. It gives us a chance to catch up as well. Right, so now you see I haven't lent into the other stuff. So what I'm going to do now is just, right, here we go. So I'm trying to just show you how. So you wrap it round like that, and then you, right, so it's really easy, but it looks really neat on both sides. Right, so we do that, squish it out. Then on the 4th one, you come in on both at the same time. So you come in on the corner like that. It's like making a bed, isn't it? There you go. And then you just fold it over like an envelope. And then that way you've got all nice corners, really tight. Right, that's nice. It's nice. Neat. Perfect. Look, isn't that lovely? So professional. Yeah, so professional. And then you can just run your clean hands, make sure they're clean, along the edge. So you get a really sharp, lovely, crisp finish. Look, doesn't that look beautiful? And the thing about it is, because this is just on paper, you can actually, when it dries, if you burnish it a bit, because it's a print, you see, you don't have to worry about knocking off the white or anything. But But if you burnish it with the flat of a spoon, just rub it with the flat of a spoon. Let me just put the lid on here. What happens is, as you rub it with the flat of a spoon, the texture of the canvas board peeps through. So, it, you know, to the naked eye, it looks as though it's been painted on canvas. And therein lies the trick. So a beautiful piece of artwork. That's got to go in the water, in the Wasser. I'll do that in a minute. That will survive 5 minutes, Gray. See, it's habit, isn't it? You just know, get it in the water soon. Right, so now we've got that done. Okay, we're nearly there now. And the last thing I want to show you, right, look, I did one of the really lovely, it's just the same print, isn't it? But on that buff paper, see? So one's on buff and one's on there. So now we've got this, last thing to show you. So now we've got the 6x6 canvas board, but, right, I want to show you. I did a black one. Now you can't see it on the black mat, can you? Just take that black away. Right, see, so what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be, look, doesn't that look fantastic on black? So classy. Look, it looks so classy. The edges all perfectly painted. Right, it's just a black, bog standard paint. I'll show you how to do it. It's a piece of cake and it takes minutes, right? It takes hours. It takes hours to get the lid off the paint if you haven't used it for a couple of years. It takes minutes to do the job. Right, so let's go, because I thought I'd leave this as well to show you. This is just a plastic mat, right? This is just a craft mat. Because this is dry now, see, we always tend to want to clean it off when it's still wet. When it's dry, this paint comes off. Look, it's so easy, okay? So I deliberately did this because it takes about 5 minutes to dry, but we've never got 5 minutes on telly to let it dry to show you how easy it is to clean it off. It's a lot easier. The paint I'm using, we've got it on our website. It's the Viva paint. It's not acrylic. It's more like a vinyl. It's got a lovely finish. It works on loads of different surfaces. We've got the acrylic as well by Viva. When's the paint going to be on the... Stuart, do you happen to know which of the bloggy sales is the paint sale? Well, I can't remember. I've got a feeling it might be Monday. I've got a feeling it might be the Monday one. I'm not sure. Right, but I just wanted to show you how easy that is to clean. No water required. This is a water-based paint, by the way, as well, which is nice. So what we're going to do, let's take a clean. This is all we're going to do to get this lovely finish, right? All we're going to do is take a brayer. Look, I've got a painted brayer. That's my painted brayer. That's what I use. And I was using green, obviously, before I used the black. Right. And what we're going to do is make sure that it's actually moving, okay? This could take until the end of the day. So what we do is we literally, what you don't do, let's tell you what you don't do. What you don't do is squirt this onto the canvas because it will make a mark. Much as you will be covering it up. Let's see, if I just take a bit of paint now, we could have a moment. Right, here we go. Look, just put a bit of paint to the side, not on the, you see? So you put a bit of paint to the side. Now the thing about this is, if I wanted it to be midnight blue, I could add a little bit of blue. So this is like a blending mat. You don't have to settle. If I wanted it to be like really dark red, add a bit of red. So in fact, I'd put the red and the blue down and then add the black. But the point is that you can blend colours. At this point, I want it to be black, right? So I'm spreading out the black on my craft mat and then I'm depositing it, literally, look at that, how easy is this, right? And I'm just spreading it out on my canvas now. So when you get canvases, like our canvas boards, we sell loads of different sizes. I think we do A5, we do A5, A6, A4, we do all the A's, and then A3 even for the big boys, and then we do all the squares, like 4x4, 6x6, 8x8, right up to 12x12. But you see, so what you do is, do this. I know we're going over the edge a little bit on the hour, but do you know what? I don't care. Let's just finish it. Project completion, right? What you're going to do is dry. You don't have to speed dry it, but it works really quickly. Look, I'll show you. You'll see it instantly dries. Look, I don't know if you can see it going matte. That's how quickly it dries, which is brilliant, right? So that works a treat. And then the edge, let me just show you how to do the edge, because it's a piece of cake. You don't need a paintbrush, you just use your brayer. And exactly like we did before, can you hear me all right? Right? Just like we did before, 2 sides at a time, right? What we'll do is we'll pick up a bit of the paint, and then we'll just run it along the edge like that. So you do one edge, right? Then you make sure that you've got all the coverage. Then you do the next edge, then you dry them, and then you do the same thing again. So you can see how easy this is going to be, right? It's that simple. And then once you've done that, hang on, I'm just going to put this on the floor, right? I'll just put that down here. Okay. Here's one I did earlier. But it looks so lovely, look. It looks so lovely. And then you know all you need is a little bit of that remnant from the double-sided tape. Stick that on the back, put that on there, Bob's your uncle. And on, oh, do you know what we haven't, let me see if I can show you. We've also got, I've got one here just to show you. We've got these, we sell these, they're brilliant. They're sliding frames. They're really cool for the canvases, right? Because they're sliding frames. So say, for example, you take it out like that, they come flat packed like that. So if you were making a frame for a friend, you could actually give them that as well, right? And then what you do is, you see, when you've done the canvas, let me just show you, easy. I'll just grab a bit of this. Yeah, that'll be nice. There you go, let's use a piece of that. And then we're just going to show you just a finishing trick. Right, and I'll take that one and I'll use this and I'll pop that on there, because doesn't that look neat? Yeah, looks so, if it did fall apart, which is never gonna, this is never gonna come off, I can tell you that. Right, then now you can decide, do you want to put a little message on, go up a bit higher? When you mount artwork on a canvas, you tend to always go just a smidgen to the top, right? That's just an old artist trick, right, that I picked up from somebody. But look, you see, they sit on the little stands. I've got these. This is like my moving gallery. This is a moving feast for me. In our house, I've got these everywhere, these things. And I just, as I make my little canvases, when I particularly like one, I put it by the kettle and then I get to look at it. That one's going in the kitchen, I think, if the cats will leave it alone. You see, and then that one will be lovely. So that's how they work, which I think is just delightful. And so that's it, really. That brings us to its natural conclusion. I think it was well worth having a look at all the different ways, the different applications. You know, the paint, the brayer. I don't have to wash that brayer. I'll leave it just as it is. I'll roll. Where the hell did I put it? Oh, it's down there. It's okay. I thought, oh no, I'm sitting on it. That'll wake me up. Yeah, so you don't have to wash the brayer, just roll off the excess and then just keep adding layers of paint. It's fine. That's what brayers are for. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that helped. I've got one more thing that I want to talk to you about. We've loaded them on the website. It's for doodling. It's the next, I've got to show you. Lisa's been working on these. You know the lovely poppets, the the Fedotova, the Marina Fedotova art that we did. Well, we did it on parchment and then I said, but we've got it in stamps, which is great if you've got all the stamps. But if you haven't, if you just want to do colouring in or doodling, this is exactly. So we've just loaded this up, and I thought this would be a superb way to go for either as gifts or coloured in. And you could, exactly what we've been talking about, right? If you just, let's take one pack so you see what you get. The idea that I had was to print these, but they're printed you get 12 postcards in each set, but one is large and one is small of each design. So one is there and one is large. One is just for beautiful colouring in, and the smaller one, I thought that would be brilliant for us to do doodles around, you know, to do our landscapes. So one is just like this, a beautiful piece of artwork to frame, and the other one is smaller, offset a little bit, and we can do our landscape, so we can doodle around it. I just think this is a real lovely idea. They're not all landscapes. See, Lisa's, some of them she's done tall, which is really cool. So you always get a large one and then you get a small one. Isn't that super? Large, small. So this is the new Pop-It postcards, the new Pop-It postcards collection, and you get 12 in each set. I think they've loaded them on the website this morning. I asked them to, because going forward, you know, like we've got the bird postcards, and we always go to the birds, and we go to the birds, and we go to the birds. I thought it would be, we've got more skills as well now. It would be brilliant to, like we did this last couple of weeks, where we're drawing and we're colouring at the same time. We're colouring in our own art. And this is the bridge to that, because we can colour in, but we can also add our backdrop, which is brilliant. So there's a fantastic price on these, as always, for our shackers, for our friends in the SHAC Shack. So we're printing them ourselves. It's taken quite a while. So there's a limited number of them. But if you fancy them, head over to the website. They're available today, and they're already at a knockdown price, so they won't get any better than that. And anyway, there you go. I hope that you've enjoyed this session. It's been a full-on makey session, but I think sometimes you just got to do that too. Lots of love to you. Stay safe. Have a brilliant weekend. Stuart, thank you so much for your help. Don't forget, apart from the postcards, don't be buying anything till next week. All right? Lots of love to you. Stay safe. See you later.